Hi, everyone. Here we are, episode 18, baby. We made it. The cup is in the right place. The gong is in the right place. And we have a local legend with us today, John Kaiser. Doug, it's amazing, the relationship, the partnership we've had with him over the last few years, along with some of our other partners.
He's one of my favorite ravioli companies. The problem is that one of my ordering managers refuses to restock the product. I know. It's a challenge. It's a challenge when you want to try to promote something and then you have a saboteur for no reason other than he chooses to be a saboteur.
You know, it's funny, that kind of a side tangent, but it happens. Like, you get people writing orders and they may not use a certain product or care about a certain product, so they don't think it's a big deal. But it's a huge deal to a lot of people. I mean, I can honestly say that I experienced that when I was writing orders. Sometimes I'd be like, man, so you don't put the emphasis in it because you don't use it. But the main thing is, you know, what I say is if you go to the shelf and you're down to, 2 units left on one item out of 2 full shelves of products you ordered 2 weeks ago and it's empty, it's selling.
No. You have it all wrong. That means, yeah, I can finally cut this thing out of here.
Yeah. That's crazy. Man. It's crazy. But it's annoying, but it's such a great seller. One thing we can do, and we're going to do, this is a little teaser for the Sprankle fans out there. We're going to add here within the next couple months a local section of the ad. And we're going to put 2 to 3 local brands each week that we carry proudly, mix it up, and what it's going to do is it's going to force distribution. It's going to force people to order it in.
I'm going to get 3 one-star reviews. I went to Order Sprankle Saxonburg and they didn't have the raviolis. I'm just going to order it myself. But you know what? You know what I don't have to order myself on? Our great friends at paskilllines.org, who support small businesses, fraternal orders, and nonprofit organizations across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, helping people find genuine Pennsylvania skill games across the Commonwealth. Guys, thank you so much. And for more information, go to our friends at paskilllines.org. And remember, Ryan,
it's skill,
not luck, baby.
Baby. Skill, not luck, baby.
So, Ryan, a lot going on this week. Super excited. I can't wait to hear about the what's going on at the Ryan Sprankle Lodge. It's almost like a lodge, but, the compound over on Reamer.
Well, we're definitely starting to put the pieces together, the compound. We're starting to get the plan together to get it to where we want to get it to. But this is a funny side note. So we noticed this craziness. I went in to get a bottle for Charlotte to make a bottle, and there was like 1 bottle left in the house. And Bran brought up to me. I said, "Hey, where's the bottle? Where's the bottles at?" She said, "I have to order more." She said, "You don't remember what happened the last week?" I'm like, "No," because think about it. In the last week, I went through the crisis with the electric and the power. We had a couple stressful breakdowns, and it's a nightmare. But it was a nightmare week, so it was all blur. But what I missed during that process, anybody that has babies or stuff around the house can relate to this. So, we had 5 bottles. We had a collection of 5 bottles. Well, in a matter of a week, just by running and gunning, Char just turned 1, literally grabbed one of her bottles and Gronk spiked it. For anybody, Rob Gronkowski, longtime Patriot, Gronk spiked it off the kitchen floor, shattered the bottle.
Wait a minute, you guys use glass bottles?
Oh yeah, glass.
Oh my God, I can see it now. Char's over there. She's like, "What'd you say to me, Dad?"
Well, there's all this stuff with the plastic and things get in the plastic. You heat the plastic up, it's bad. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but we just like bottles. But so she Gronk spikes the bottle, shatters the bottle. Dogs are trying to get it's a nightmare. Trying to keep the dogs away, clean up the mess, keep her from it because she wants to play with the glass
and not get glass in your foot.
It's a nightmare, not get glass in your foot. So that was the whole situation. Then we're loading up the car, and anybody, again with kids, and as we said, I'm working on the house, so the porch and everything's kind of out of whack. So it's a muddy mess, and you're sliding everywhere. Well, in the middle of sliding and trying to get from the car to the porch, bumped a bottle that for some reason was on top of the car, but bumped the bottle. Bottle shatters on the stone and mud, gets all through the mud and stone. So we had to clean that bottle up. So that's 2 bottles down. We had 5 to begin with. Now there's 2 down soldiers. We're down to 3 bottles. This is crazy. So Bran then is messing around the counter. I mean, it sounds like she was just screwing off. She's probably cleaning or doing something. Breaks a bottle on the counter. Shatters it on the counter all over the place, all over the floor. We clean that up. Now we're down to 2 bottles. 2 bottles left. Very valuable real estate. Now, I have the baby, and I put her down on the floor. Anybody with kids, again, you can relate to this. You have a 1-year-old, you're trying to juggle many things, naturally, things, you have to go to the bathroom sometimes. So, I'm there. I put her down. I'm going to the bathroom, peeing into the toilet. I'm trying to hold a bunch of dirty clothes. I'm trying to hold a bunch of her stuff along with a bottle that I forgot was there. Now I'm trying to, go to the bathroom, and anybody with kids and stuff, I mean, you shield them away from the bathroom situation. So I'm shielding her away. I'm holding all this stuff. Bottle. That can't make this up. Thankfully, before I went, bottle slips through the cracks, goes into the toilet, and smashes in the toilet. So now I have this. Thankfully, I didn't go, and thankfully, the person before me was courtesy enough to flush. But now I got a broken baby bottle in like 15 pieces at the bottom of the toilet. So now I have to take the baby downstairs. Somebody has to wash the baby. Now I got to go upstairs. Actually, my mother-in-law was in town, and my Aunt Kim, my wife's Aunt Kim, had a great idea. She's like, get one of your old junky strainers that you don't use a strainer. So I scooped this bottle and all the glass out with a strainer. But I thought I had it all flushed. It's stuck. So now I'm like, what am I going to do? Now, thankfully, it flushed, but it was kind of a slow flush. And every time you flushed for like 3 days, you'd flush and it would flush. And then you hear this. I'm like, oh my God. So that one, I finally couldn't take that anymore. So I got a plunger, man. I went to battle on it. I mean, I went to freaking battle with this plunger. But bottom line is, we broke 4 bottles in 1 week, various ways.
I just have two opinions here. So, I used to be really hard on nice clothes, right?
Yeah.
I stopped buying nice clothes.
Mm-hmm.
A man that breaks 4 bottles in a week should probably either go to plastic or switch over to, like, is there a rubberized, like a phone case for it? Can you get like a rubberized protector for it?
I mean, honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just can't believe it. I'm sure you can. I mean, she's kind of getting to eating now. Her teeth are starting to come in. I think we're almost done. We invested in 2 more bottles, so we're back to 3. And I'm hoping that lasts until she's done. But, I mean, 4 in 1 week.
Dude, she's 1. I mean, you probably have 6 months left.
I mean, I don't know. I'm optimistic that...
You broke 4 in a week.
Yeah, I know. It was a rough week. Rough week. The toilet one was...
That's insane.
I was literally like...
Do you realize...
And I still had to pee.
Do you realize...
So now I had to wait. I mean, it was like level 10 pee.
Right.
So, you don't just like... decide, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. So you gather a bunch of stuff to carry while going to... It's like you get all this stuff going, and then you're like, oh, man, I really got to go. So it was like level 10, I had to pee. But I had to get this thing figured out before I could pee.
Well...
Rough. So that's a good segue.
I was going to talk about my shake-up restructuring retail, but I just want to give a little more background, Ryan. So every medical crisis you thought you had, as far as in your mind, you thought your heart was going to blow up that one time. For some reason, I'm always the guy that takes you to the hospital, right? Yeah. Do you remember the time you had the red line of death after that spider bit you?
Yeah, and quick background. I'm a hypochondriac. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. But here's what I will say, and you can vouch for me on this. This kind of goes with what you say. The one, like, if there's 10 times my mind says go to faster care, go to the emergency room, out of every 10 times my hypochondriac mind says that, the 1 or 2 times that I decide, no, I'm going to tough this one out, that's when the red line.
You didn't tough it out. You told me to take it to the hospital.
But I had a red line going to my heart.
Yeah, it's pretty normal. No, it was funny though. My favorite is when you first got it, you got bit by a spider. You're like, that's weird. And it's almost like you thought you were going to turn into Spider-Man. There's a little red line going up to like where your veins are. It was kind of falling up towards the thing. And you're like, that's weird. It's red. And then it went the whole way up to your shoulder, and it was like right below your armpit, and you had a line. And if it crossed line, the doctor said go to the hospital. But it's funny though, because I'm always the one in there with you, and it's like it's like I just sat there. The guy's like, "Oh, what's it today?" I'm like, "Well, I think Ryan's gonna die of a spider bite." And like literally, it was antibiotics and everything else. But it's just funny, like that or the heart thing or something else. Like for some reason, I'm the guy that's like, "Yeah, man, I should take you to the hospital."
I think it's bad luck. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's just you're just the lucky one that's always around. Yeah, there was the time that I thought I was having a heart attack, and then there was the time that the spider bite. That was legit, though. You gotta give me credit. That was legit.
What was in the basement? Where'd you get bit by a spider?
No, I was holding Colt. He was like 1, and he couldn't sleep, and I was holding him, and it was actually my right hand. It was my left hand, because I was holding him, and I felt this like horrible pain, but I was really asleep, and like so I kind of just whatever, but then it kept hurting, and then finally when I woke up, I looked down, and it literally looked like somebody took a cigarette and just went, oh. And I mean it was like burning to the point my hand was shaking, but again I know I'm a hypochondriac, so I'm like, nah, just throw some Neosporin on it, and you're gonna be all right. No. Whatever that little filthy spider was, he really gave it to me good there, man. Yeah, so, yeah, no, you are usually the guy around, though.
Either good luck or bad luck, I'm not sure.
Either that or I'm bad luck, because, I mean, it's not a good situation for you. It's like, something's wrong with this guy. Then you got to sit in a waiting room it's always, let's face it, anytime you go to a place like that, it's always this.
No, there's some brotherly love there, but I look over, I'm like this. If that guy goes down, I'm going to do double what I'm doing right now, and that is completely impossible. I can't do it. You better get your life back together and get back to work.
For the podcast, you could just put glasses on me like Weekend at Bernie's. Ryan, what do you think about that? And then you could like make up a voice for me.
Good shot.
Yeah, it's plan B. Plan B, but... Not but. I don't know what's happened. I'm just so caught up on stuff. But anyways, this is the time for boom! Retail stereotype of the week with Doug.
You know what? It's kind of inspired a little bit by our friend Harrison Ford, but everybody's been to the store, and if you worked in retail, you guys know this. People think that in the back room, there's an endless supply of everything. They don't think there was a truck worked. They don't think like there's no way that could really be out of stock. So, when people come to me and I call it the magical back room or the endless back room, and it's basically the customer fairly is convinced that if you go to the back room, it's so big and so infinite that you're always going to find their item. And it's happened. It's happened to me. I've been there and, they're like, and it's always an obscure item. It's like, oh, do you have the Tylenol 12 count? I really don't want the 24, the 10, but I'm more of a 12 person. Do you have any more of that in the back? Man, we get 1 truck a week for that kind of stuff. It's not back there. And when you tell them that, they think you're just wasting their time and like you're lazy. So you're like, ma'am, there's no Tylenol back there. First off, do you think we'd keep Tylenol in the back room, a small box where somebody could walk off with it? Probably not. We want to keep it out where the cameras are, where people can see stuff. No, but the back room, magic, back room, believer.
It never fails. And actually, I just had that happen in Katanning. I was there and I was talking to one of the department heads, and a customer asked for something in the back. And so we had just we'd gotten a truck the day before, so I kind of went back there and I was like, I did look, but then I come out and said, oh, I'm sorry. And they're like, well, didn't you just get a truck in? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. To the point, like customers, man, they know, and it's kind of cool in a way. Like Like when your customers are good enough customers, they know your truck schedules. I mean, that's pretty good. But it was amazing though, because they went to me. I mean, I'm the owner, and they didn't even trust me. Like it was like, I was one click away from being like, "Do you want to come back and look?" But like the 12 count Tylenol, yeah, stuff like that is absurd. I mean, we just keep a stockpile in the back, like just to try to get the demand up. I mean, no, that does happen all the time, and people never trust us. Like, what's in the back? We know it's in the back. It's like a game. It's like, I know it's in the back. Now, I will say this though, it does happen sometimes where actually Mary Savannah, Mary Savannah, Aubrey's mom.
Yeah.
She came to your store. She told me the story. It's funny. She came to your store. She's a great customer. She becomes more and more a customer, big app card person, big produce buyer. She saw that we had avocados on sale for, I forget what they were, some crazy price. So she comes, and they were all right, but they were like ripe.
Yeah.
But she wanted like a mix. Most people do. Big avocado people, they want a mix of stuff they can use tomorrow and stuff they can use like 3 days from now. So she's like, hey, this goes to the person. She's like, hey, yeah, more of these in the back. Like, oh no, lied to her. Yeah, but because they were looking out for the company. They knew that the avocados out there were good. They wanted to rotate them out properly.
Right.
But she knows the truck schedule. She said, well, didn't you just get a truck? Follow-up question.
Oh, no.
Follow-up question.
Re-raise.
Yeah. The person stayed firm, man. Stayed firm. But she came back the next day, I think, and got them. But she knew they had to be back there. And sure enough, they were. Like, they were back there. But isn't that funny? Like, you're right that people don't trust. But sometimes you're right not to trust.
I'm bogarting all these avocados for myself.
I'm saving the freshest avocados for my grandmother. You'll take what's out on the shelf, man.
Well, guys, we're super excited. This week, we have our friend John Kaiser from Kaiser Ravioli Company, based right here in Ford City. Up next, can't wait.
Remember the thrill of your first childhood game, maybe tic-tac-toe? Genuine Pennsylvania Skill Games recaptures that excitement, offering easy-to-play, win-every-time experiences at your favorite local spots. Imagine a game where a little skill consistently turns credits into cash prizes, a game you can enjoy with others and even help them win. No need to just imagine. Genuine Pennsylvania Skill Games, championed by the PA Skill Alliance, are real. Go to paskillalliance.org for more information. Hi, everyone. We are here with very special guest. This guy has been with us since almost the beginning of what I consider the madness period of Sprankle's neighborhood markets. He has been a part of it. He was at the store when Jeff Pyle was there for Camp Out for Community. He was out there pushing pierogies and making stuff. The whole store smelled amazing. Guys, we are here today with John Kaiser, owner of Kaiser Ravioli Company, Ford City proud, Ford City, PA. This guy, man, he brings enthusiasm to it every day. He brings just a special flair. He puts his own into everything, man. You go to his booth at a festival, more than likely he's going to be there. You get a delivery, he's going to be delivering half the time. He's just like us. He's a part of everything he does. He's a part of every aspect of the business. He has enthusiasm. And you know what? Here's the other thing. He's got an amazing product. So if you haven't had Kaiser Ravioli, Kaiser Pierogies, Kaiser Gnocchi, it's amazing. And here's a beautiful thing. This is why I really relate to this guy. It's just like Dad. Dad, late 40s, decides, hey, you know what? This corporate world, this safe zone isn't for me. Let's take a chance. Let's start a store. I don't care if I end up broke. I'm willing to go broke to achieve my dream of having a family business, of bringing back the Sprankle family name, of, getting something, developing something I can pass on or that's going to outlive me. And, John Kaiser did the same thing, late 40s. Boom. He's working as a machinist. He's got a stable job, stable opportunity, and boom, he decides to start it. And the beautiful thing, does it on December 28th of 2011, which coincided with his mother's 90th birthday. Guys, with us today, the legend, the Ford City legend, baby, John Kaiser. John, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I'm so excited to be with you guys. This is going to be so much fun, and I'm just so enthusiastic about my business, what I do, getting out there, putting my products out there, putting smiles on people's faces, because I know it gets better every single day because somebody new has tried Kaiser ravioli products out for the first time, and they will, there's no going back, because once you try my products, there's no going back. There's no comparison.
Well, I'll say one thing, John. I agree with that 100%. And my wife, Brandy, who you know well, is a very tough food critic, man. She's a cook. She could start a restaurant. She just has that. She has that, and everything that she produces is amazing. And you know what? You know what she doesn't produce? Ravioli, gnocchi, pierogies. Why? Because she can't do it better than you, man. and another thing is she's a big time fashion. She cares about the way she looks. She cares about the way she presents herself. And we went to Las Vegas a couple years ago, and we had a picture that we use all the time. We love our picture in front of the Raiders stadium before the Raiders-Steelers game. And guess what sweatshirt she had on?
Kaiser Ravioli Company. I remember that. I love it. And whenever Brandy put that picture of Charlotte with her hair all whizzed out, and it was like, by the reaction of Charlotte's hair, Kaiser Ravioli Company are a big hit.
Oh, yeah, what? She loved it, man. We did that thing. The newest food trend is 100 foods before your first year. You try to introduce 100 foods. It helps with allergies. It helps with them being willing to try things and be good eaters as they get older. And
right.
I mean, when she had a taste of that, it was like, whoa. It was like, I mean, wherever I felt like, we were working in some kind of a kitchen or something. We kept having to throw these little pieces at her like it was crazy, man. It was great. It was absolutely great. Well, I want to talk. Doug has some questions. I have some questions. It's going to be tough to fit it all in here because, we could go, you and I, we could talk for hours. But we got to talk about, people love these kind of stories that we just talked about, like your story. And just walk through for the person that's at home that's thinking, hey, I have a dream, I have whatever. Just walk through the process. I'm John Kaiser. I'm 40 whatever years old. And walk through, okay, I'm sitting here doing this, and walk through from that point to the time the inspector said, okay, sir, you are ready for takeoff.
Okay, so it all started in home ec in 1983, and we had to come up with a food business concept. And I told Lou Alberti and Wes Young, I said, hey, my mom's got these ravioli plates in this roller, I said, we ought to make some ravioli up. And back then we even called it Kaiser Ravioli Company. We did a little video and stuff and rolled them out by hand and stuff like that. And Carol Capone, she said, she ate them ravioli and she goes, oh my God, John. She says, I could see, she goes, these are amazing. She's like, I could actually see you being very successful in a business with this. And I laughed. I thought that was funny. And my friend Jeff and Mike and we just like to make ravioli. And so we wanted just for ourselves. I wasn't into the business aspect of it. But I always say Mrs. Capone that day planted the seed for this next coming part. And then Rick Lewis, he said, John, why don't you sell me some of those ravioli? And I said, hey man, I need at least 10. And this was back in like in the early 80s and stuff, and I was like, when $10 actually bought you something, and I said, I need $10 for that. And he says, okay. And I handed him them ravioli and he handed me that $10. And I said, there just might be something in here. And I say, that's the day Mrs. Capone planted the seed. And when I handed that bag off to Rick Lewis and got that $10 bill, it germinated. And it just lasted inside of me. And I always wanted to do it. And then started making them and selling them to my friends. But then I was making them by hand. It was hard. It was hard work, like labor intensive and stuff. But I never let it go. And then I would only do it seasonal. And then one day I started doing it again. My ex-wife and I, me and her, we started out and I started selling them at Key Belleville and stuff and selling them to my friends. And then I told one of my coworkers, I was like, I'm looking at this equipment, I've been wanting to do this ravioli business for, ever since I was 19 years old. And I'm looking at this equipment. And he looked at me and he's like, no, that'll never happen. That's about the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life. So you know what I did that night, guys? I went home and bought the machine.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to find out.
Yes.
It's $12,000. It's $12,000. It'll answer the question.
That is so beautiful.
I let 25 years slip by knowing that I had a product that was superior to anybody else's out there. And I knew it in my heart and I believed in it. I believed this in my heart. And whenever Jim Bauer told me that was the stupidest idea, that lit the fire inside of me like you wouldn't believe, guys. I was like, I went home that night. I flipped open the checkbook and I said, I got the money. And I had to send half of it to San Francisco. And then whenever the machine came in from Italy, I had to send the other half of the money in. And when I sent the other half of the money in, they sent me the machine and I got it. And I started setting up in Cadogan, and now I'm down on the dime road, and everything's really rocking and rolling, and business is booming, man. And I answered the question.
What was that guy's name? What was that guy's name again, John? The guy that told you that, and you had your like Ralphie from Christmas Story moment where you just, couldn't take it anymore. What was the guy's name?
His name was Jim Bowers.
Jim Bowers, if you're watching this, or if any of your kids are watching this, or friends are watching this, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for inspiring John, even though he probably wanted to knock your head off at the time.
I did. I was furious, guys. It was so bad. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that you were like, you're like dashing my dreams like that.
Well, I'm glad you chose making raviolis over going to prison that day, John. Yes.
I want to go back.
It takes it.
Just like you guys said with your dad. I'm in my mid 40s and I'm pumping Bellevilles out for Bob and doing my thing on the weekends, trying and saying, what if I was at Sprankle's doing a demo? What if I was at Nazer's doing a demo? What if I was at Kevin's doing a demo. What if I was doing that? I think that I could get my business going a little bit better, you know? And so
Well, it's funny. It's funny because my dad had the same thing, John. My dad had the same thing. A guy pissed him off. His boss was putting all this pressure on him. Dad was working as a sales manager. He grew 8%, 7%, 10%. This he called him this little guy, this little man syndrome. He said this little guy. He can't. I came into his office. I thought he was going to be happy. He said, I want 17%. Like he just kept pounding my dad. Just kept pounding him. Just relentlessly, made his life a nightmare. He's working 80 hours a week, and finally it was the same type of situation. He just said, you know what? We're not gonna take it.
yeah.
No, we're not gonna take it. It was that moment. Doug, what'd you have? You have a question for my man John here.
Yeah, so I was going back, John. So, like, I was reading up a lot of, you've been in the paper a lot, which is awesome. You're recognized, obviously, not only in Armstrong County, but also in Butler County. You talk a lot about, in a couple of the articles I read, about your parents and your heritage and obviously the raviolis. Talk a little bit about, on the other side, the pierogies and, what inspired you? Was there also a family recipe there that, was brought over from the old world, or was it more kind of like you knew so much about ravioli, you're like, you know what, we're going to add a little bit of Pittsburgh to this and make your own pierogi?
Well, we always made the homemade stuff, you know what I mean? And Mom made some pierogi, but I used my Aunt Lena's recipe for the pierogi end of this, and that was my mom's sister, and she was like, oh, I'm not going to tell everybody what we put in it. Okay, we're just. And she's like, oh, then people are so stupid. She came over here on the boat. You know what I mean? And she was using a processed cheese. You know what I mean? And she was like, oh, this is not like, but she was like, they knocked my door down for these things. You know what I mean? I gave her a little plate to make, you could get a half a dozen out of them at a time. You could roll the noodle out and make like a half. She was like, nope, I don't like doing that. You know what? Because she was so old world, She was born in 1906 and she come over here in, I think, 1918. So she grew up, her and my Aunt Isabel grew up over in Italy, and they remember, how it was over there. And then when they came to America, how things changed. And my grandfather was one of the first people to dig coal out of Cadogan down there. He was a mine boss, and and my dad's parents, they both came over here from Poland, and they had 5 children over here, and my dad, he was always really proud, and he always said, I always told him I always wanted to do this, and he's always like, you're a dreamer. I'm like, yeah, but you got to dream it to have it. You know what I mean? To make a reality, you must dream it and stuff. And I just wish my parents were still around, because I just know. Sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, they'd be proud.
Oh,
they'd be extremely proud.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy
They
proud.
would be super proud. Super proud.
So John, what was your first step was to buy the equipment to scale up the operation. What was your plan as far as like production? Did you find a place in Cadogan? Is that your first, obviously a production facility?
That was actually, I grew up in a double house, and my mom lived on one side and I was making out of the other side. I was using the other half of my childhood home to make all that out of and stuff. And I was taking care of my mother, because she was in her 90s, and she lived there by herself after my dad passed away. And that was another, reason that I wanted to get out of the Belleville shop a lot was so I could take care of my mom. And and then I just ended up down on the dime road, and it's all good. I'm just glad that I made that move, and I'm just a happy man, and hard work and determination will get you everywhere.
Your care of your mom was admirable.
And for any young person out there, I say, hey, if you have an idea when you're in your 20s, don't wait until you're 45 like I did. Don't wait until you're in your 40s. Just don't do that. Go. If you know that you got it, go for it. Go for it while you're young. Because when you hit that 45-year mark, when you're 45 years old, you'll be cruising. You're not starting from the beginning. And I know, Ryan, you said it about your dad. He didn't know how he was going to pay the electric bill. He didn't know how, we have talked, us guys, we've talked, and to start a business and start it from scratch. And yeah, it's a tough endeavor, man. And, but once you get it going, and once you get your reputation, and your solid belief, hard work, determination, that's how it's done. You know what I mean? You guys work extremely hard too. You guys run a store. I run one product, a little line of products. You guys are dealing with thousands of products. Your shelves are full, and your plates are way fuller than mine.
It's the same deal though, man. Game. It's the same game every morning. Every morning you wake up and there's this list of the things you want to accomplish, that you want to do, you want to work on, and then there's the torpedoes that hit you while you're trying to do that, and then there's machines break, extra bills come in you didn't foresee, people call off, people are sick, people whatever. You have all these little variables that hit you throughout the day, and it doesn't matter if you have a business like yours where you got one line and you're doing it with a couple people, or you got like us, or it doesn't matter, or you're somebody running 10 stores. Everybody that's running their own business still has the same thing. It's called the pressure of the hat, man.
Yes, indeed. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, my friend.
And there's no joke, man. And there's that dream that you're talking about for the 20-year-olds out there. John, you're exactly right, man. Get it while you're young. Take the chance. Believe in yourself. Go for it. But know what that crown means.
Absolutely.
Know what it's going to take. It's not going to be just all front page of the paper and all, people, praising you and cash running like crazy. And no, my friend, that's not the way the big guy intended it.
No, you know it. It takes a while to build your reputation and everything like that. And your dad did that, and you guys all have your own stores and stuff like that, and you're all successful. And that's a big credit to your father, and your mother too, because whenever your mother stuck with your father, my ex-wife, I wasn't even 1 year into this yet. She come home one day and she says, hey, she's like, I'm exhausted. I really can't take this anymore. It's not that I really hate you this much, but I can't take this business aspect of this anymore. I'm leaving. And she walked out the door.
I'm glad you made that point. Because a lot of people that don't come up in the business don't understand the business. And like I was, Lindsay kind of, I started the business young enough that she kind of understood the lifestyle, which is not much of a lifestyle. It's a choice that you make at an early young age. But really, to your point, to do it right, to do the perfection of what you do, and to do it right every day, and to your credit, you're into what, over 17 grocery stores?
Yeah, I have about 20 now.
So you're over 20 grocery stores, has 20 relationships outside of the events you do, obviously the production you do, sourcing, making sure the machines are well maintained. All the things you do on a daily basis takes a lot of time. And for a relationship that doesn't understand that, it's not always a good profitability thing. It's more of a trying to build a business thing. It can be very trying. And, for those out there, the spouses that, husbands and wives are running businesses, just stick with them. Eventually you get to retire.
Yeah.
Someday. Or we'll stroke out and they can retire.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Hey, life would be grand. You know what I mean? All she had to do was stick it out. You know what I mean? Hey, I didn't realize in the summertime that pierogi sales and ravioli sales and gnocchi sales are way down in the grocery stores. Okay, in the summertime. When we start heading back towards school and we start losing daylight and we need comfort food, we're booming, When the April and May and stuff start coming around, no, I need to shift gears a little bit. That's why I'm out with the concession trailer, and that's why I'm out with the booth. I had to learn the ins and outs of this, and after 14 cycles of this, I could tell you month by month how every month is going to be.
That's huge, and that's a great point. So glad you brought that up, John, because no matter what business you're in, I mean, I just look back at us over the last 30 years since the first time Dad bought the business, and Doug and I are standing on the back dock looking at ice cream melting because the freezer broke on the first day that we had the store. And I think about from that point till now, and how our little businesses have evolved, and how if you'd have told me 20 years ago that we would have a loyalty card program, card, that dates me, but it's not card anymore, but a loyalty program, that we would be so digital, that we would be doing a podcast, that our marketing would have evolved to where it is, that we would have multiple people working on our marketing and social media. I mean, if you'd have told me that, it'd be like, it still is a little bit, but to your point, and this is why you're successful, and this is why our mom and dad was successful. So far, knock on wood, we're still here. Is because you gotta learn. Okay, it's not always just gonna be given to you. You gotta like go out there and grab it. You gotta go out there and get it. So to your credit, and you've been fortunate enough, or I mean, I shouldn't say fortunate. You've been gracious enough to pass on that knowledge to some people, like my son, Colt, who's with his cheesesteak business. I haven't had a chance to personally thank you, but thank you for all the input you've given him, planting seeds, saving him some steps. Because I mean that's worth its weight in gold, and it shows your character, being willing to pass that information on to a younger generation.
Right on. And I'm enthusiastic about Colt doing that too, and doing some shows and stuff, and he has a great product. I got the cheesesteak up there at the Polka Festival. We were trading food with each other. That's what we do,
Yeah. That's awesome, man. It just shows the guy you are. You don't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. That was nice.
You're right. But yeah, and just I try to help out where I can, because I appreciate the help that some people have given me through. And then there's some people that are, well,
Oh, I know who.
John, believe me.
Hey, else,
20 minutes before we go on every week, John. And this is not a lie, and I'm glad you brought that up, because we've been like, you never have an itch you just want to scratch, you want to go there, but you feel like you shouldn't, and what you just said, and you kind of stopped yourself. Every week before the show, this is for everybody out there, this is a little insider thing, but Doug and I, one or both of us, come in with some moment that somebody just, they pissed us off, John. And so they did something to really piss us off. So we come in hot. And usually it's me, believe it. I mean, some people think Doug's a bit, but I'm like the hothead. He calms me down. If this was the Corleone family, if you're familiar with the Godfather movies, he'd be Michael Corleone. I'd be Santino. I'd be the guy that gets shot on the bridge trying to kick the guy that just beat my sister up. Doug's a little more measured. But normally I come in with some hot take. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to just launch it. I'm ready to just call these guys out. And Doug's like, you gotta get it, calm down. You can't do that. I'm so glad you mentioned that, man, because it's part of owning your own business. People steam you up.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, I'm sure you've gotten to an event and somebody steamed you up.
It's all good though, and it's part of what we do. Some people love us, and some people don't like us at all. They're just they just can't appreciate what we do. Owning your own business is very, very, very difficult. It's not something that it never stops for me. It never stops. There's times I get home 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I throw something. I got to cook something or whatever because I'm out delivering. I'm out doing something. I'm trying, and I travel long distances. I'm like out by the airport. I'm in Beaver. I'm up in Harrisville, out in Cranberry. I'm all over Western Pennsylvania, and people love me, and I love my customers. And I'm with you guys. I cannot do what I do without you. Our customers, we all know it, man. They are the heart and soul of everything that we do. And for me, I can't express my appreciation enough. And I know you guys feel the exact same way.
100%. And we're looking forward to the continued relationship, John. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to as far as, are you working on any like new developments, new flavor profiles? Is there anything that you're working on for this season that you might want to tease on the show here?
Not really. I can hardly make it fast enough right now. So anything experimental right now, it's like not real feasible at the moment. I wish I would have done. I wish I could get the USDA thing going, but after a long day, I don't feel like working on my HACCP plans, and you know how it goes, guys, with the federal guy. You guys are in the meat department.
Hey, the federales don't play.
Yeah. Yep.
No, and that's one of the things too. I don't think people understand is how difficult it is to be a food producer. Obviously we're retailers. We sell. We don't really produce other than in-store stuff. But to actually produce and sell elsewhere, the amount of red tape you got to go through to make sure that, especially when you get into that meat level, like vegetarian, non-meat items are okay. But as soon as you get to like fish, especially fish, but like beef, chicken, all that stuff, there's a whole different level of rules and regulations and cost. I mean, there's a lot of cost there. So when people see, raviolis being super expensive, there's a reason for it. There's just a lot of maintenance there.
Right. Yes, indeed. And meat's expensive. Meat's expensive. That's all there is to it. And I only use top-notch ingredients. And with all my products, I only use the best ingredients that I can possibly get. I can get like the Pecorino Romano that I use in my product for my ravioli, and that stuff is almost $50 for a 5-pound bag now. And I can get this stuff called Tatabella, and it's $19 for 5 pounds. Okay. But the stuff I buy, it's sheep milk, rennet, salt, and enzymes. The Tatabella, That wouldn't fit on the label. I mean, it's so long, it wouldn't even fit on the label.
Questionably sourced.
I love it.
You know, and it's a pecorino style, topping. That's what it's called. What I use is pecorino Romano cheese.
The real deal.
The real deal. Yes, indeed. But my stuff's a little bit more expensive than other people's, but when you bite into it, there's a reason. I use, Philadelphia cream cheese. I can get cheap stuff, but I don't. I use top-notch stuff, and I get everything fresh from down at Lamagna. I get 30-pound thing bag. They're like in a bag of ricotta cheese, and we're going to go through. Went through 6 of them today, and we'll go through the other 3 in the next 2 days making ravioli, because we had to pound out some gnocchis and make some ravioli. If you open up my commercial freezer right now, there's not a bag of ravioli or gnocchi in there.
Wow. Wow.
I do the fundraisers, and it's working out so well. I got 5 fundraiser deliveries next week.
Wow,
It's just insane. Yep.
The stuff's just so good, man.
I love it. I'm with you guys, man. I wake up every day. I'm enthusiastic. I can't wait for what the day brings. Let's have some fun. You know what I mean? And when I get out there and do my thing in the summertime with my concession stand, I am so in my element. I am in my element so much right at that point in time, because people will come back up to me and they'll be like, "Oh my God, that's the best pierogi I've ever eaten in my life. No, oh my God, them ravioli were phenomenal. I'm going to be coming back every time I see you." And they do.
Well, it's the best. And I'm glad you brought that up, John, because we're getting into that time of year where, it's starting to feel nicer outside. Everybody's looking to get out. Everybody's looking to, go to events where they're outside and the camaraderie and eat some good food, drink a couple beverages and have a good time. Now, here's the question. You've been all over, and you've been up and down. You've tried it all. And, maybe you won't answer this. Maybe you will. I don't know, but I'm going to ask it. Out of all the events that you attend throughout the year, what is like, and it doesn't have to mean that it's the best, so to speak, but just from your personal standpoint, whether it be a nostalgic thing, it makes you feel at home, brings back memories. What's your favorite event that you look forward to every single year that the viewer out here needs to put on their calendar?
The Polka Festival in Johnstown.
Let's go.
Whoa, that's awesome. I've never even heard of that. Really?
Dude, it's so much fun. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It is. It's, I think, the 29th, 30th, and 31st of May this year.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's the Polka Festival down in Johnstown. I mean, it's fun.
We'll have to take advantage.
Show that I do? No, it really isn't. But the atmosphere, and you know what I mean, and just the way that the people are interacting and everything like that. And for me, it brings back and with my parents too. My parents were polka dancers. I can envision them out on that floor, polkaing around and, and having, the time of their life there. And I think that is like the coolest show that I do every year. And that's the Polka Festival down in Johnstown.
That's a great tip, man. I've never even heard of it. That's so cool. And it's so cool that it brings back those memories. Like I can picture you there, you just finished up your 3rd straight 18-hour day, 19-hour, 20-hour day. But you take that moment to kind of envision and remember your parents. That's pretty special. That's cool. That's
Right,
awesome.
it is, because like I say, I could just see them out on that dance floor, having the best time of their life, and I know they would. I just know they would.
That's super cool, man. That's unique. I've never heard of that. It's funny. We like Johnstown. We've went to some ball games there. We our one supplier had an annual trade show there. McEnany Brothers. You're familiar with McEnany Brothers. So we went there all the time for different things. Went to a lot of concerts at the War Memorial. But
Right.
we never did the polka. That's might be one we need to hit up. It might be one I need to tell Junior about.
Cheesesteak will be good there.
Do you think he can handle that event? I mean, is it something?
Yeah, he would. It's not like you're not gonna. He won't get super busy. He'll make money.
Yeah.
Okay. I make money.
Right.
Am I crushed? No.
Right.
I'll get crushed whenever I do Butler Invitationals for the track meet out in April. There's like 97. Last year was 97 school districts were there with over 2,000 student athletes. And now let's bring in parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, everybody. And they only have like about 4 food trucks there. And I'm one of the select people that get to go in there. And that's my best event right there. And the senior, and that'd be April 18th this year. And I'm looking forward to that day. I do really well out there, and they remember me, because I do all 3. I do 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th.
Well, and that's perfect too. Let's face facts. Look at the time of year. You still got a little chill in the air.
Yes, indeed.
You got a bunch of people that, let's face it, we go to these events, you get up in the morning, you get there. By the time you get there and it's 11, 12 o'clock, you're getting hungry. You just watch something, you're getting hungry. Or you got people that just ran like 45 miles. So, I mean, they got to replace those calories, right?
I don't know about you guys. I couldn't even run around that track one time.
I'd have the big one. I'm having the big one.
Kids, man, they fly across there, man. I'm like, wow, man.
You're like, wow, man. You want a gnocchi? It's good for you. It'll help. Help you run faster, jump higher.
Right on.
Be quick. Be quick.
I always give a spiel when I'm cutting meat, which I don't cut meat anymore much, but I still give the spiel even if I'm not cutting meat. But if somebody asks me about something, I always have to throw in an extra 2 cents. Some lady will stop me in the back. Oh, hey, can you tell me what your favorite whatever is? And I'll, roast whatever. I'll tell her, chuck roast or ribeye. Definitely go with ribeye Delmonico, whatever it might be. I'll give my feedback and I kind of read the room and see who it is, But I'll, if it's like an older lady especially, I'll be like, hey, you go home and you go home and give this to your husband, and I'm telling you, he's gonna look at you different. He's looked at you in 20 years. You know what I mean? Like I give the whole thing. It's a whole spiel.
I do that too every once in a while. People, I'll be like, "Oh man, your girlfriend's gonna love it. Tell her that you cooked this."
Yeah, exactly.
You were the chef.
That's the beauty of it, man. You got to make it fun, right? You got to make it fun. You got to make that encounter. The customer, they're looking for information, but for the most part, they smell your product, they know it's going to be good. But they're looking for that little extra. They know you're going to give them that little extra in that back and forth. That's the magic of the customer service. Probably why you enjoy the event so much.
I do. I love doing events and stuff like that. It is so much fun to get out there and be with the customers, and it's just fun. I love doing that. Business is fun. It's hard, but it is fun.
The fun's why you're willing to do the hard.
Yes.
Amen.
I agree 100%. Yep. Yeah. Some of the things we have to deal with, like when a compressor goes down or something like that, it's like, oh my God, this isn't fun.
No, no. When I come into a store and I see multiple service trucks in the parking lot,
Yes.
let's just say those days you have to have a lot of fun to offset those 3 service trucks.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Yeah, because yeah, it's the part that other people don't actually see. The average person doesn't see that, the serviceman in there. The compressor went down. Just lost a whole bank of freezers. You know what I mean? Freon's like, oh my God. When a bottle of gas is like, you got to be kidding me, Bob.
I love it too. I love it too when they stop in. When you get somebody that's in a hurry, you get somebody that's in, and we all get it. You have a million things. These guys sometimes they've stacked up 12, 13 stops in their head. I understand, but one thing we've learned is when these boys roll in and you see them lugging a gas tank back out of the store after they were just in the store. I've learned this because of what you just said about how expensive gas is the hard way. Hey, whoa. Did you have to put gas in? Oh, yeah. I had to put in about 10 pounds. Did you find the leak? And then I say, but I've learned this part. The next question is, oh, did you find the leak? Oh, you know what? I didn't look for a leak. It was just low. Well,
it's low for a reason.
Hello.
Right.
Well, why don't you just humor me and take your leak detector that somebody paid $1 million for back in there and do a little beep test and see if you can find the leak so you don't come back on Monday with another 20 pounds.
Right. And expect me to pay for that.
Tip for anyone out there. If you see a guy lugging a tank out of your store or house, ask them if they fixed the leak.
Hey, I think you guys are crazy. First off, there is natural evaporation,
Yeah, right.
Not 10 pounds of it.
I don't think it's legal for that stuff to be naturally evaporated.
No. It's supposed to be a closed system.
That's beautiful. The madness of small business.
Well, John, thank you so much for being on the show today. We love your product. Thanks for being a part of the Springer brand. Thanks for all you do to bring back the Italian Polish culture right here in Western Pennsylvania. We love your product. People can find it literally everywhere in the valley. Excited to see the future. Excited to see it at events coming up this fall, and obviously not spring already. It's spring.
It's already spring, baby. It's almost here. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking so forward to it. And thank you guys for inviting me to be on here. I had a blast. I thought this was like super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed my company.
John, if this is how much I enjoyed your company. If we ever get big enough and we can have like one of the guys that's just kind of there for commentary, you'll be getting the old banana phone call, man. Trust me.
You'll be our Robin. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you very much, John. It was great.
It was great. Thanks, guys.
PA Skill players seek genuine PA Skill games. How can you tell the real from the imitation? The PA Skill Alliance offers a 4-step identification process to help you find genuine PA Skill games. 1. Check for logos. Does the machine display official Pennsylvania Skill Game logos? 2. Look for Powered by Pacematic. Is it Powered by Pacematic visible on the game's case? 3. Assess business reputation. Is the game a reputable business? Genuine PA Skill games were not intended to be standalone businesses. 4. Examine game style. Is it a tic-tac-toe style game that offers the option to win every time? Help combat fraudulent skill games by exclusively playing genuine PA Skill Alliance supported games. Discover more at paskillalliance.org. I'll tell you, Doug, John Kaiser did not disappoint. The guy is he's great. He's just like us. He's got just enough yinzer. He's fired up. He's passionate about his business. it's such a cool partnership, and I'm open to expanding our partnership with some ads and some more promotion down the road because his product is amazing.
He has that Western Pennsylvania grit.
He does, man. He's got what it takes. He said it in the interview. He and Dad have a lot of similarities. We have a lot of similarities with him. Just bringing that passion, even on days where you're like beepity beep 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 beep. You still come back the next day. You still come back strong the next day. Somehow you come back strong the next day. Somehow, but he has that. He has that ability. Okay, I had a bad event, a bad day, bad whatever. Inspection guy came in and caused me to buy this. Doesn't matter. He keeps moving forward. He keeps on persevering, and that's what's beautiful about guys like John and guys like Dad. And we inherited some of that. So that's cool. But speaking of inheriting. And speaking of the origin story, we kind of got out of whack with our order this week, but sometimes it's good to mix it up. We got a great origin story. Doug, do you remember when we first, we were Central PA guys, pretty much didn't go out of Central PA too much. But do you remember when we bought the store, Dad and Mom bought the store in Leechburg, when we first started coming over, it's like an era of discovery for us, like new town, because we didn't go to new towns. I mean, it was like we were in our town. That was pretty much it. And then we went to the beach and stuff, but once a year, once every 2 years. But we stayed in our town in Central PA. But we came out here to Western PA. Do you remember the discovery time, meeting new people and everything?
Well, that was part of it, but I do remember. Do you remember the wings? Chicken wings. Chicken wings in Central PA is only the wing ding. It's not the whole leg.
Right.
But out here, it's the whole leg. So I remember the first time I ordered wings at a restaurant, I'm like, what the heck is this? Send it back. And they're like, no, that's the Pittsburgh style. It's the whole wing. So, which makes me happy because Pocha only does the best part. The whole bottom part's gone. Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Pocha's wings is just the best part of the wing.
Yeah. I'm so glad you remembered that because now I'm so used to it. But that was a mind blow because in Central PA, if it was wing night, remember Main Street was a big wing place. They had a big wing night. Unfortunately, that's not even, they closed.
Is Champs still there? Champs had great wings.
Oh, they are still, yeah.
Cool,
they have good. But it's wings. It's wing dings.
Right.
When you said wings in Central PA, it was the wing dings. I mean, it was the old, you could put it in your mouth if you're hardcore now, put it in your mouth and just come out with nothing but the bone, but
hey,
yeah.
You hang out with some weird people. What the heck?
When we came out here, man, it's like they handed me a bird's arm, it's like, here, eat this. I'm like, oh, I didn't ask for the whole arm. I just wanted a wing. Well, it is a wing.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny observation, yeah.
It was an adjustment.
That was part of the discovery.
No, but it's interesting too. So if we go back, to Leechburg when we first came to town. It was very similar to Saxburg. There's businesses on every location on Main Street. There was 2 banks. The mill was open. Things were humming. People were high-fiving. It was going good. And one of our, lifelong friends in Leechburg was there, and he had a great little jewelry shop.
Brian Ferlino.
What a stud.
Earl's Jeweler. I mean, going back to your point of how much has changed, and actually, when we first moved here, they said that it was 20 years past the heyday of Leechburg and some of these other mill towns. And I mean, Leechburg is the classic mill town. And, that Main Street was humming. You're right. 2 jewelers, 2 or 3 banks. I mean, there was action, but it's funny because we thought that was action. They said that was actually not even near what it was in the 70s. But yeah, Brian Ferlino, he took over his dad's jewelry business, Earl's Jewelers. And I bought my first, I bought Bran her engagement ring there. I'll never forget. I bought that there, a little princess cut ring. But when you walked in there, do you remember when you walked into the field?
Well, yeah. I mean, first off, let's remind the audience. There was smoking in there.
I forgot that there was smoking in there. They smoked openly in there.
He was a Marlboro Red guy.
That's right.
And the reason I know that is that when I went in there, so he was one of my role models, and this is why we're actually here today. Without him inspiring me through his previous life, which he was in Godfather 3.
Yeah.
He was Sergio Leone's assistant director in Once Upon a Time in America. I mean, he's on, he has credits. And then he was in Godfather 3. When Sergio Leone died, he moved back home to do the family business because Mom wasn't by herself. Mm-hmm. And I'd go in there, and I felt like I was like a paper boy. Like, I learned so much from there. And I'd go in there, and at 18 years old, I was like smoking a Marlboro Red, and telling stories, getting ready to go off to film college. And, I got to the point where like he was such a good mentor from just like how to handle people and how to like, back then there wasn't as much judgmental people. There wasn't, you could kind of like say some funny jokes. And one of the jokes, it was funny for me, but I was there smoking a Marlboro Red. There was two ladies there. They were both wonderful women. One of them was Vicky. Remember Vicky?
Oh yeah, Vicky Booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a really good friend, still is with Bran.
Right.
Yeah, she was great.
Vicky was in
She
there.
was the head of LACA, the Leesburg Area Community Association.
Yes. And then there's the other lady who was in there, who was just another lady in town, but she was also, a very nice lady. And they were both highly educated, right? And so like I knew that there was this back and forth I could play with them. So I was in there one day and I was smoking my cigarette like a cool 18-year-old smoking a cigarette. And I was like, Brian, watch this. He's like, what? I'm like, I'm gonna get the girls fired up. He's like, don't, come on, man. It's 3:00. I got 2 more hours left of these things. It's not tonic and gin time. We gotta get this done. I'm like, no, watch this. I'm like, hey, girls, what'd you major in? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I'm getting ready to go to college. What'd you guys major in? They're like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like this. Wait, they taught that back then? I thought it was only home ec.
Oh my!
They're like, they chased me out of there with brooms. They're like, get out of here, you stupid kid. It was so funny though. But Brian though, he basically he knew how to like talk to people and knew like how to engage with them at that time, and he also knew what he could get away with. Like I couldn't get away with that joke in some places, but knowing the crowd and being local enough. And the girls, I knew they were highly educated. I think one was maybe a master's at the time, which was really hard to do. It was just funny. I just remember, but Brian inspired the film thing, which I went to college for. And then obviously it didn't work out. I became a grocer again. And now we're back into podcasting, which is actually surprisingly a lot of work here with the audio and the visuals.
Yeah, you never know where life's going to take you and who's going to affect it. But I didn't think about that angle, but you're right. Like he actually had a hand in what we're doing right now. So Brian unfortunately passed away, I want to say circa 2011, I think it was 2011. But so, he's up there. I'm sure he's looking down and he's happy with everything. He taught me, one thing he taught me was when I was going to college when I met him, and I'd come and work at the store and get to know him from working at the store. He was a great customer. Actually, he was a big gin and tonic guy. And our rep at the time said that he was amazed how much tonic water we sold at that store. And we were selling more at that store than some big giant Eagles were. Here's, Brian.
There was a lot of people. That was actually because whatever the area was, it must have hit that area differently. There were so many people who drank gin and tonic. Yeah. We didn't have the Shasta water, the Shasta tonic.
Yeah.
They'd actually they'd probably burn the store down.
Yeah. No, he was big on that. But he told me, he said, listen, you're going to school. You're going to have fun. He said, go hard from Monday till Thursday at noon. Go hard. Study, whatever you got to do. Don't party, don't whatever. Now, I'm not going to say I always listen to that. Was there the occasional Tuesday night that, hey, let's go play some pool and have some beer? Sure. But for the most part, I stuck by that, and it really, really helped me out. So, I mean, he was a good guy. You're right. He had good advice. He was a good sound guy. He was a reasonable guy. But it's guys like that in these small towns that own businesses that give character. He gave character to Leechburg. I mean, he brought Carrie Fisher to Leechburg.
Yeah, he's good at Anna's all the time when he'd come out in town.
Yeah, and
at his funeral, she sent flowers.
Yeah, I mean, pretty amazing. It's pretty cool. So Brian, here's to you. And origin story was kind of a combined situation, but we both had, and then it's fun. I'm glad you brought up the film part because that's pretty cool that he had some part in that. That was pretty neat. And now, Doug, it is time for my item of the week. And my item of the week is. It's like in a Christmas Vacation when the uncle's shaking the cat, or Chevy shaking the cat.
I think the cat's shaking the uncle.
No, he's like,
no. It's in the box.
It was the cat in the box. He's like, ow! Aunt Bethany, did you pack your cat?
Oh. Remember the cat food was in the gelatin?
Oh, yeah.
The Jello mold, the cat food was in the Jello mold.
That's great.
Oh, so rough.
Great scene, so well written. This is not cat food, although I'll bet you every cat in the world would appreciate this.
This cat would want some.
And again, this segment is not sponsored. I'm not being sponsored. It's just stuff I enjoy. And man, am I hungry right now. So I could probably eat this raw. But John Kaiser, Kaiser Ravioli Company. We got frozen home style potato and pepper jack cheese pierogies. And I'll tell you, if you haven't had his product, his gnocchi, his raviolis, his pierogies, Kaiser, man, is so good. I mean, there's a lot of people that discount. A lot of people don't know about pierogies. Did you know that? Pierogies it's not like a thing that everybody in the world knows about. Like when you tell people that aren't from Pittsburgh, if they're from a part of the country that isn't really knows about pierogies, they'll be like, what? It's like pierogies. Like we take it for granted because we're here, but you don't, it's not everywhere. So like pierogies, for those of you out there that don't know pierogies, man, get pierogies, try them. They're great. Mrs. T's will work, but if you can get a local guy like John Kaiser, boom. It's amazing. That's why one of the reasons they promoted so much at PNC Park, the pierogi race.
Oh.
It's about, getting people
It's a Pittsburgh thing.
educated. Yeah, you're in the city. You're in this. Oh, they have these pierogies running around the ballpark. I mean, it's like a whole huge deal. But that's my item of the week.
Saxburg does deep fried pierogies.
Oh man, I don't think that's.
It's
I
amazing.
don't think that's fast. I don't think that's faster way approved.
No, but it's amazing.
Whoa,
Get a whole tray for yourself and just mow it down.
cheat day.
Woo!
That'd be like a cheat month on most plans, but it's so good. I'm sure it's so good. I'll have to try it sometime.
It's really good. I feel like it's like pasta week. Because, Ryan, it's this week in retail history. Woo!
One of my favorite segments, Doug. Spit it to us. What's happening?
I'm talking about Thori Boyardee, which is Chef Boyardee. So, interesting enough, Chef Boyardee was a massive hit. When he was just a young man, he came to America. This is right towards the end of World War I. Came across Ellis Island. His first job was working at the Plaza Hotel as a chef, and then got promoted to head chef. He gave one of the welcome home dinners with Woodrow Wilson and 2,000 soldiers. But he was the guy, he moved out to Cleveland, Ohio, where he has basically, his restaurant was going so good, people loved his sauce, right? So he started doing milk jugs back then with sauce in it for people to take home. So then he was like, you know what? I can make this better. I'm going to start doing pasta with it, some Parmesan cheese. One time, he was the largest importer of Parmesan cheese in America. Think how much cheese that is.
I can't believe the mob let him get away with it.
That's yeah. Maybe they're in on it.
I mean,
maybe they're like, hey.
I'm sure they had a piece. I mean, they didn't let anything come over from Italy without them having a piece.
No. So think about this. It was such a great product. So then, he started to do all this other stuff, and he had his raviolis and everything else. And then he moved his operations to, where's the place? He moved his operations to.
Sorry, guys. By episode 50, we'll have our proverbial together.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah. Milton. There we go. Oh, it's like bad jip. No. He moved its operation to Milton, Pennsylvania, where it still sits today. ConAgra actually bought it out, but during the war, he was producing so many cans that he needed to have 3 shifts constantly making raviolis. And so they were making it 24/7 hours a day, 7 days a week during the war, 250,000 cans a day. Wow. Think about that.
That's crazy production. Even I feel like today that's crazy production, let alone with the technology at that time.
Think about the beef, the pasta, the water. I mean, everything is such a big scale. But he had over 5,000 people working for him. It was such a big impact for the war effort that the United States government gave him a gold star. Think about a gold star as a citizen producer, a gold star. So after the war, things were kind of dying down. He realized that, although he had the government contracts, he really didn't have CPG access. He didn't have, distribution in grocery stores like he needed. So he actually sold the company. And the reason that he was quoted selling it was he wanted to be able to save the workers. And if he didn't have the demand like the war was giving him, he knew he couldn't really do that. And he wasn't, let's face it, I mean, he was a great manager, but he wasn't a professional grocery guy. He was trying to, obviously do his pasta business, which he did a great job, made a bunch of money. But he did save all the jobs, and, he sold it to a mass conglomerate. 1946, he got $6 million.
Genuine PA Skill Games, powered by Pacematic and supported by PA Skill Alliance, are dedicated to fostering growth throughout the Commonwealth. These games have been instrumental in supporting local fraternal orders, fire companies, bars, and retailers by keeping businesses operational, maintaining employment, and funding community projects. With over 5,000 communities across Pennsylvania, it's highly probable that genuine PA Skill Games are working hard behind the scenes in your area. They ensure the vitality of our main streets, restaurants, bars, and stores. By supporting PASkillAlliance.org, you are investing time in your community, employing your neighbors, and contributing to local nonprofits. Together, we can help keep Main Street open for business.
$1946.
I mean, it's an unbelievable brand. I mean, let's face it, it's an iconic brand. I mean, it's still in our ad about once every 2 months. I mean, it's always there. And, most people can remember as kids, I mean, it was huge in the 80s and 90s. I mean, that was like an instant, like, here you go, kid. And I mean, that took care of things for about 2 or 3 hours. But one thing I want to bring up, you mentioned it's Milton, right? Mm-hmm. It's Milton, yeah. Milton, PA, right along Route 80. It's a great location, not too far away from New York City, not too away from Philly, good distribution. But it affected not only Milton, but it affected the whole region of Central PA. Bran had 2 classmates at Lock Haven. One classmate, one of her best friends, Candy Remick at the time, now Candy Karstetter, but her dad was a plant manager there.
Oh, wow.
Lived in Lock Haven, was a plant manager there. And then Brooke Martin in high school, another friend of Bran's, she was in our wedding. Her dad, Archie Martin, he just retired from there. He was an IT guy. He was an operations guy forever there. And I mean, she claims that one of the biggest things around the house was trying to decide between family members which was better, between the different.
Oh, like SpaghettiOs or raviolis.
Right, yeah. It was like a hot topic. She said they'd have a shipper in their kitchen sometimes. He'd have a shipper, because he was in tech. He was in the trials and stuff.
Yeah.
So they'd have a shipper, and they'd just go grab it out of the shipper. But I mean, it affected a lot of Central PA along the 80 corridor. I mean, the guy really, by bringing it there, it really had a big influence in the whole region.
And recently, we relived our SpaghettiO experience out west.
That's right.
We were out west, living our best lives, and we went to the hotel, and the hotel had a 2 o'clock in the morning bar of SpaghettiOs. I've never seen so many SpaghettiOs. There was literally these pans of SpaghettiOs, and there's raviolis, and literally you're just like, you just get back from this cowboy concert, and you're like, oh my God, I need something. I need something to wash down the bourbon. And actually, that was back when here's a crazy thing. So before this, we've probably been to like maybe 2 cowboy concerts. We went to the George Strait out in Ohio with Uncle Tim almost getting tossed out and the state police almost arresting both of them. And then maybe another one. But we saw Jelly Roll twice at the beginning of his career. No, we saw him at the beginning of his career. And then later on, we saw him when he was, last 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw him when he first started. Before we were like, who's this guy? Jelly Roll is a wild name. Now everybody knows Jelly Roll. I love Jelly Roll. But I mean, at the time, I was like, we're going to go see this guy named Jelly Roll? But it ended up being good. Then he got Entertainer of the Year. Then we saw him again, pre-Ozempic, or whatever he's on.
Whoa. He's not on Ozempic.
Oh, was he on?
Oh, no.
I mean, he's hardcore.
No.
His journey's been amazing.
His journey's amazing.
Yeah.
He didn't want to jack up his stomach, was his words. He was on Joe Rogan.
Oh.
He was talking about how he did get tested. His testosterone was too low. And then he did have a high A1C, but what he did was basically metformin, small doses, through his doctor, obviously. Everything was professionally prescribed. That and Cam Hanes, which is a big bow hunter. Guy runs super marathons, bow hunter. The guy's crazy. But he, in that relationship, that's how he lost it. So he didn't like, I mean, yes, he had some doctor help, but it wasn't like he was just going on whatever the fad was. I mean, he earned it. Like
That's
the
interesting.
dude earned it.
That explains he was on College Game Day, and that was the first time that he was a guest on College Game Day, and that was the first time I had seen him. And I'm like, whoa, like, and he was like getting choked up talking about his process and what he went through. That explains it. Like he did it the old-fashioned way.
Oh, he grinded. I mean, it wasn't like it was
Yeah.
given. I mean, not saying that it was given to you. I'm just saying though that
No, he worked.
it's very important to understand that it wasn't like the Hollywood fad diet. I mean, the guy just old school, like wore a bandana on. I'm gonna work myself through this.
I already liked him, but I mean, I think I just
Stud.
yeah, he's real. He's a real dude. But anyways, yeah, that's funny. But I do remember that. I do remember that. What a great idea, though. After a party, just have a bunch of SpaghettiOs out there. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Well, speaking of, I think you said 5 years ago, my retail story, and again, Doug's probably losing his mind over there because I'm mixing this episode up. I don't know.
What is happening?
Something in my brain is this. I'm like, it's like I'm just spinning the script and like, oh, okay, let's just do this now. Doug's like, oh my. So thanks for bearing with me over there. But retail story of the week, mine's a quick one, but it's notable. It's notable because Doug's mentioned before my lack of technological savvy, if that's what you say it. But you know, I've really gotten better. Doug's helped he's pushed the envelope on that, and I've been forced to kind of, this right here, this guy right here. So the story is, and this is notable. Think about this. Grocery store, I bought Katanning off of Dad and Mom in 2020. Right before, literally, I bought it right before the COVID, right before all that happened. I signed on the dotted line. I was also helping with all of our marketing, I was heading up the social media, and I was also managing some real estate. And I was running the Vandergrift store. I was running the Vandergrift store. So I had all that responsibility, and literally the only technology I had, and this is no lie, Bran actually was the one that said, you need to talk about this because it's notable. I did all of that. Obviously, I had help from a lot of my friends, and thank you all for helping me through that. But this guy right here, iPhone, ran it all from an iPhone, did it all from an iPhone. People are like, what about the reports? What about the spreadsheets? Like, what about, people just are fascinated by this. Like, they're like, wait a minute, you didn't have a computer? No, I didn't. I mean, once in a while, I would cheat. Once in a while, I'd use the 1999 office computer, get on the internet and wait for it 20 seconds to get on. And then, get on there with hoping that whatever I was doing didn't cause the registers to crash because they were all combined on the same thing. So once in a while I would do that, I'll admit. Yeah. But for the most part, bang, all off of that. They'd be like, how'd you do, Google Meets and all that stuff? All in here. Like, how'd you see? Like, I looked at it, So here, there's a screen. They make them for a reason. They're like, well, didn't you have a keyboard connected to it? No. Like, what was your keyboard? Well, again, thankfully, they have a screen. But I did all of that from the iPhone, and I didn't think anything of it. But the more people that hear that in around fires or at events or around dinner, when they hear that, they're like, wait, what? Yeah, because most people that have companies now, they have like 10 screens and, I mean, you go over to you and Bela, man, and sometimes you can't see you guys. You're just surrounded by these
Saxburg's up to 3. We got 3 screens.
Yeah, Brand, her corporate job. I mean, she had screens. I felt like we were gonna have to cut out the floor between the first and second floors. So we could have more screens. I mean, she's like, it's like first row watching a movie for her.
You know what's amazing about that story, though?
But it's true. I mean, you were my witness.
No.
Did you ever see me with anything besides this?
This podcast was amazing for Ryan. He learned a thing called Excel. He does Excel. He got a laptop for the first time. When's the last time you had a laptop?
I mean,
do you think it's pre 2005, 6?
I personally got one. I mean,
you got one for work.
I had one that I used solely for online poker for a while in like the teens.
Yeah, but I'm talking like, I mean, you probably had a laptop in 20 years.
If ever. I don't know if I ever had one. 'Cause
Not for work. Yeah, you're right.
when I went to school, I mean, we were still like, even in college, it was like, wait a minute, Excel? Whoa. And then the advisor, nah, you know what? You don't need that. That's an elective. I mean, that's how long ago I went to college. I was the last of the groups that went to college that didn't have to learn all this stuff. But, I didn't have a computer in college.
But oddly enough,
I didn't own a computer in college.
you can out type me.
Yeah. At one point, I could probably type 87 words a minute.
Which is insane.
No, I swear to God.
No laptop, but you can type 80 words a 7.
Well, I mean,
87 words.
Mavis Beacon teaches typing.
No, but here-
I had access to computer labs.
But here's the deep moral of the story. In business, guys, it's not the equipment, it's the man, it's the woman, it's the person doing the job. You can do a lot with a cell phone now that you couldn't do 10, even 5 years ago. So guys, don't waste money on things you don't need. Make sure the money improves the process, not the process improves the money.
Number one thing though that I did have, to your point, 100% right for those of you out there that want to start a business, a team, coach a team, be on a team. Doug just gave you some nuggets. But I will say this, like I only had that, yeah. But I had an amazing crew. At Vandergrift, we built a nice crew. That store was doing well. We built it up enough that we could get a nice sale at the Dollar General. So very proud of that. But then Katanning, we built an amazing crew there. And so I had that. I had you and my wife and some other more technologically savvy people to handle some things here and there that, I needed somebody to kick something out to me. I mean, so to your point, you surround yourself with great people, you get good processes in place, and you don't need to have all this crazy technology. But you do need to have the people and the processes, and so I made up for it in other areas too. I mean, thankfully I was strong in some other areas to offset that. But now I get the technology, baby. I get the whole package now. Finally, I'm 45 and it's the second time I'm going to use this. Getting our together, baby.
Woo!
Woo!
But Ryan, that's an amazing story. No, but it's so funny though, because it's all about trends and getting better at things. And this week's retail trends of the week is micro homesteading boom and hyper. Just kidding. It's actually the premium convenience. A little bit of a multi-script there. No, it's premium convenience this week, and we're talking about think about the 1950s and the freezer dining experience and the massive retail shift from sponsors demanding restaurant quality meals, but in a convenience time frame. Time is important, right? So the grocery trade up as customers are cutting back on the expensive $100 restaurant tabs to save money, but they also are rejecting a portion of those bills to trade up at the grocery store. So higher quality merchandise, higher quality food, organics, things of that nature. And then also, just like our boy John Kaiser, the death of the TV dinner. You know what? He's like, there's some all right raviolis out there. They'll get you by. They're not grandmas. I did have grandmas, by the way. Not our grandmas. We weren't Polish, but I had Lindsay's grandmas once. Whew. Phenomenal. I mean, it was a different. It's built different. But John's are just like hers. And so basically the ability for local people to focus on one item, make it super local, make it super great, and make it phenomenal so that it's that trade up at the grocery store. And our grocery store, because we're independent, we can put whatever we want in it. Right? If Ryan wants to sell, Ryan, what do you want to sell tomorrow?
All I can think of right now is Kaiser raviolis. If I don't have some of those very quickly, I think we're going to have problems.
Struggling over there. But my point is, we can incorporate in the store because there's not slot fees. For those of you who don't know, it's a big deal. Slot fees in big warehouses, you got to pay to have your product in there. So think about that cost justification. But we don't have to worry about that. So we can support great local brands like Kaiser Ravioli. So as this week's trend is, people looking for the grocery store for the option to save a little bit of money, trade up on that meal, and have a better meal at home.
The death of the TV dinner, baby. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, way my mind works. We've talked about this. Like something gets stuck in there. As soon as I saw that you said, and a lot of times I don't look at this. I like to be surprised by what he's going to say because it's always interesting. But as soon as I saw TV dinner on the screen and I heard you say it, all I can think of is like like a 1960s guy there in front of the TV, 2 feet away from the TV with everybody trying to look over him to see the TV. And he's got one of those trays. Remember they were selling like the trays that could hook onto your chair? The tray hooked onto the chair with the dinner, literally TV dinner. And sitting there housing it with everybody trying to see the TV over him, But the trays, if anybody looks back, Google it, look up TV dinner trays. They actually made trays that you could buy for your chair, and there was different variations, but it was like a big thing. Oh yeah, I can. At the time it was like, oh, that's convenience. You can have dinner in 10 minutes or whatever. So you get your TV dinner on your TV dinner tray. You're watching your show, just housing it down.
That's how I began the great relationships. You're like, I'm eating.
You're like, I need something. Honey, if I don't eat this right now, then I'm going to be a real bear once these 4 knuckles of bourbons kick in. Something's got to soak it up. So.
Well, I just remember the holder for it. Remember like the old wooden holder, and there was like 2 on both sides, and you could pick it up, and like you got to be careful though, because if you pick up the wrong way, it opens up and smashes your fingers. So you're trying to hold your TV dinner like Ryan with his bottle, and you're smashing your fingers with this TV tray. Meanwhile, you're trying to drink a bourbon, yell at the kids, and you're just trying to survive.
We just totally threw another stereotype. The 1950s man, everyone.
Bonus.
Drinking bourbon, throwing kids around, and eating a bunch of TV dinners.
Well, Ryan, this week I feel like I went back in the 1950s. I was, as you know, I've been helping with the Leechburg store. We're co-op. Yeah, that's a weird thing to co-op a store with your brother. Ron and I are very strong-minded individuals. So anytime that you get into business with your brother, it's always a challenge. But then when you have 2, I always refer to us as 2 lions. Like when lions are babies, they kind of melt. They join forces. They get big enough that 2 of them together take over the old lion, then they take over the business. But then they're 2 old lions. They say it's fight. But so anyway, so I'm helping the Leechburg store, and one of the things I haven't done in probably 3 years is interview somebody for a job interview. And so I'm down there, and I always have a process. Are you familiar with that process with my job interviewing?
Yeah, I've actually sat in on it. I think it's interesting. I mean, I have different styles, but I do enjoy that, and I think it's a good test.
Yeah, what I do is I basically pick 3 principles of the company, and the principles are not so much about. It's not so much about how well you can do the job. It's about who you are, because I can train pretty much anybody. So the first thing I do is I let them talk about themselves and where they're from. And then I always go into like these 3 questions. And it's always, number 1, important to us is being a good customer service. Without good customer service, we do not exist. There's a lot of options out there to shop at. I would prefer people to choose ours, and for us that to happen, we got to have great customer service. Number 2, just as important, being a good person. I need you to treat everybody with respect, and that starts with our fellow crew members, but also yourself. Be a good person. I can train a good person to do anything. I cannot train a bad person to be good. Very simple. Number 3. Don't steal. You steal from me, you steal from all of us. I walk you out in handcuffs in front of God and country on Saturday morning in front of your family, church, and whoever else is out there, and it goes on the news. And then I go back in the interview. So I'm there, and I call to the front, and I make this interview, and I go to the front, and I'm up there, and I'm like, and like, Doug, it's over, no, it's not over. She's over in the coffee shop. So I go over and I sit down and I'm like, hi, my name is Doug Sprankle. I'm like, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm interviewing you today. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm looking for a cashiering job. I'm like, okay, cool. Do you have a cashier experience? She's like, oh my God, do I have experience? I have experience in hotel business. I have experience in trading stuff, and I have experience in this and that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, where you from? Like, well, I had to leave there. I almost died. I'm like, what? Yeah, I almost died. I'm like, what are we talking about? I'm like, think about so our business is very localized. And so most of the time when you're interviewing somebody, you know them or somebody in the store knows them, and they're within like a 20-mile radius of the store. And I'm like, oh, where you're from? She's like, Hoboken, Brooklyn. I'm like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, not Brooklyn, but New Jersey. And she was like, yeah, Hoboken. And I'm like, oh, that's where Frank Sinatra's from. She's like, oh yeah, Frankie boy. Yeah, Frank's great. And I'm like, so what brings you to this area? She's like, I just wanted to change. I'm like, no family in the borough of Leechburg? No, I don't know anybody from this area. I'm like, how did you get here? She's like, met a guy on Facebook, worked, he said there's an opening. An opening? Yeah, he said somebody moved out and I can move in with him. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, it's okay, that's great. So great. So going through the questions at that point. So I did my 3 little, the deals. And she was like, well, I'm like, okay, so, if we would hire you, do you have a Pennsylvania license? So that, she's like, no, I have one from New Jersey and it's expired. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then I always ask lift restrict, is there any medical things that prevent you from lifting 50 pounds or more? Then I always ask, what about any criminal background I need to know about? And she was like, no background, no background here. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, well, I went through the job. And then I asked 3 questions and she's like, yeah, no stealing and be a good person or something. I'm like, oh, customer service. She's like, yeah. So she got 2 out of 3, which is actually is the middle of it. Because if the whole idea of those 3 questions is that you need to ask the questions, because if they answer the questions back to you at least 2 out of 3, that means you're paying attention when you talk. And to train somebody, they got to at least pay attention when you talk. If you don't, it's pointless, right? And I'll get to the pen thing in a second. So I'm like, all right, okay. So I went through the whole job looking for somebody to help us do some deliveries and help us shop for customers and customer consistency. You're going to be handling money. You're going to be helping people. You're going to be very consistent in your process. And she was like, okay, that sounds good. I'm like, all right, well, let me do the background and I'll get back to you next week. So I'm thinking to myself, that was a little different. But one last thing I do is I always walk by and I drop a pen. Like I drop my pen I'm working with. And the thought process behind that is if I drop the pen, they pick up, hand it back to me. And I act like I don't see it. I make it look like I just stood up and knocked it over. If they hand it back to me, that means they're willing to serve when I'm not there. They're willing to help others when I'm not there. And the person picks up the pen and takes it. It was like a Bic. It wasn't a nice pen, but they just pick up the pen and take it. So I'm like, oh, Jesus. And like that, mind you, this is my first interview in 3 years. So I go back to my little computer and I run the New Jersey background research. And I'm like, interesting. 3 open warrants for minor theft. I'm like, hey, thanks for applying today. Really appreciate it. We're just going to go in a different direction. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Wow. That might have been, well, there's some others that maybe rank as worse, but that is just I don't even have any words. That couldn't have, the woman couldn't have messed that up. I mean, she got 2 out of the 3 questions right, but you can't trust her. Mm-mm. She's got a record. And again, if you're in Hoboken, New Jersey, and you spin the globe, I mean, Leechburg is not going to be. I mean, we grew up 2 hours away from Leechburg. We never heard of it until Dad bought a store. It's a beautiful little quaint town, but it's not something that is worldwide known. I mean, the fact she took the pen is wild. But the rap sheet, the whole thing, man. I mean, and let's face it, too. You didn't bring this up, but when you walked in, and she addressed you that way, knowing you very well could have been an authority, maybe you're not, but if that's the way she addressed you walking in when she's getting prepped for an interview, you would think that'd be when somebody's at their best. And she came across that chafing when you saw her, when you engaged her, that was her reaction to a person approaching her. So I would guess the customer number 543 on a Monday isn't going to be treated real good, especially if the guy that had an open space in his house, if it was a rough night for him, then that Monday, that customer 543 probably isn't going to be getting her very, very best. And then if she's willing to steal a pen out from underneath you, basically.
Cooked.
Just, sometimes actually it's better, I think, when an interview is just that bad. Rather than have somebody that kind of, maybe they're, no. That's nice because you can just be like.
Yeah. It just, it makes me think about in general in the world, like, there's different levels in life, right? And like, you are a product of your environment, but like, at what point did this flannel wearing guy give off the vibes that like, all this is perfectly fine in a retail establishment? Like, why would you apply for a cashier job if you have a history of theft? Unless you want access.
Yeah, and it's also, it's also a, entry level job. It's also a job where, don't get me wrong. I mean, we have some phenomenal cashiers and some people that have been with us a long time, but it's usually a job that, like, for us, people get a job as a cashier, and usually it's like a secondary income in their family, or they're retired, or they're a younger kid. For the most part, it's in that realm. And then people that do well at cash register then move up to office or move into a department or something like that. It's a job that when you move in, you can get there. And be honest with you, in our stores, I think a reason we get a lot of people applying is because it's local. So if somebody doesn't have a car or maybe they're sharing a car with somebody that has a job outside of town, they can walk to work and back. It's an easy job in that respect. But I don't think she was thinking of. I don't think somebody like that's thinking about the qualifications. I think that they're just like, I need to get a job. I think I need to get a job. So, and who knows, if she was in contact with some guy that was just people in and out of his house easily via the internet, what else is she bringing from Hoboken? That's my first question is, okay, this person sees an ad or whatever online. They meet a guy randomly from Leechburg who has open spots here and there in his house. She's coming from Hoboken. Is she trying to get a job with you to cover up some illicit activities, running from New Jersey, New York? For those that aren't familiar, Hoboken's right across the freaking East River from New York City. They use, okay, I got a job here. Don't look at me while I'm running, whatever.
Catfish.
Yeah, whatever.
Catfish.
Back and forth,
Yeah. Not a valid point.
So that was my immediately thing when you said about how she, the tough approach and the background.
Yeah.
I think you might have dodged a bullet there. But maybe literally. Who knows? But we dodged the bullet again because we made it. We did episode 18. It's in the books. And thank you very much to all of you for enabling us to hang out like this together as brothers. To be able to do this podcast is really cool. Telling the stories, just saying what's on our mind. It's really cool, and it's really great that you guys watch it. We really appreciate that. Continue to watch, follow. Make sure you follow. Hit the follow buttons wherever you're watching on any YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is. Make sure you hit follow. We really appreciate it. And
thank you for our guest, John Kaiser.
John Kaiser,
killing it out there. Thank you so much for your ravioli and committing and not listening to your friend. Your friend was wrong. You knew what you were doing. And now we have beautiful raviolis and pierogies on the shelf every single day. And our friends at PA Skill Alliance, guys, remember, it is, as always, skill, not luck. Baby. Helping our friends. More information, go at paskillalliance.org. Guys, thank you so much. As always, we can't do it without you.
Come and see us.
Woo!
See you next week.
I mean, you can move it out a little bit.
It's facing my throat. But honestly, how's it sound?
Sounds great.
The sound matters, dude, as you know.
Oh, really?
How about now?
Sounds great.
No, seriously.
Stop it. It sounds great.
I think you're just saying that.
Why would I make it up?
How about now?
I want to start.
Now? Seriously.
Yes, you're like a fluffer that won't fluff. Fluff.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Ready?
Wait, hold on.
3, 2,
No,
1,
stop it, stop
go.
Stop it.
Make sure your cup's right.
Your cup's right.